Good morning, afternoon, or evening, boys and girls. This is Miss Katharine from the Frederickson Library for another session of Craft, Grab, and Go. So glad you joined me, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So our craft today is frogs. So I want to, I usually like to start with some jokes, a little facts, and then we'll get into the craft. But for those of you who are new, I just want to welcome you and tell you a little bit about Craft, Grab, and Go bags. They're available at the Frederickson Library in the Children's Department. Twice a month, usually I have a program on videotape where I do a craft. And it's often been around animals, but it could be other things. And I supply all the materials in a bag called a Craft, Grab, and Go bag. There's no registration for this program. You just come by the library and pick up your bag, and then you can watch the video at any time, just suited to your convenience, and do the craft. And many families do them, siblings do them together, or, younger and older friends do them together. So feel free to pick up a bag. Now, most of our programs at Frederickson during the COVID have been, virtually. So anyways, this is virtually, but there's no registration. So that's the kind of nice thing. It is first come, first serve. And I can tell you the bags have been popular. So I put them out usually on a Sunday and then Saturday and Sunday. And often by Sunday late, they're all gone. I only make a limited amount. So if you really want one, please get to the library quickly and pick up your bag. You can also follow the video online and just make it on your own. It's just a little bit more cumbersome because you have to get the supplies. Some of them are real easy to get, some are a little trickier, but nothing is overwhelming. So let's get started. I also want to tell you the next Craft, Grab, and Go bag will be available Monday, May 8th. That's a Saturday, so you can pick up your bag, and the videotape should be posted by Sunday, latest Monday. And this one is for this Saturday, and it will be, the videotape will be available Monday. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back. And I look forward to doing another Craft, Grab, and Go with you. So what do you think of when you think of frogs? Tell maybe your adult or somebody that you know. What do you think of when you think of frogs? The first thing that comes to my mind is ribbit or croak, 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 the sounds that they make, but also that they just love to be in the water. But there is a difference between frogs and toads, and I'm going to get in that in a little bit. But first, I want to start with the jokes. So let's start with some frog jokes. Why did the frog go to the hospital? Because he needed a hopperation instead of an operation. What did the frog order at McDonald's? He ordered French fries and a Diet Coke. Okay. What do you order when you go to McDonald's? Maybe you don't even go to McDonald's, but anyways, there's one near me, and I haven't been there in a long, long time, but they are convenient sometimes to stop. How does a frog feel when he has a broken leg? He feels very unhoppy, or instead of unhappy. He can't really hop. That's a pretty big deal for a frog if he broke his leg. So, anyways, should we do one more? One more. Okay, what do you say to a frog who needs a ride? You say, come on, hop in. And boops, the frog jumps into your car. Anyways, so let's get started. I think I'm going to do the craft first, and then I'll do some of the facts, because I don't quite know how long this craft is going to take, and I'd rather you get the craft done, and then you can hang on to do the facts. All right, so let me show you what the craft looks like. It's going to look like, now I haven't quite assembled one yet, but it's going to look like this. There are going to be two frogs. One is is sort of swimming in the water, and one is on a lily pad, and it kind of bounces back and forth because it's got like little springy things in between. So, anyways, let's get started. So let me explain what's in your bag, and then we can start. So first of all, there's this page. It says frog on a lily pad. Okay, so here's your lily pad, and here's a frog. And if you don't know what a lily pad is, you can look it up on the internet, but it's like a little plant, flat plant that sits in the water. And frogs like, if they're lily pads where they live, they like to sit on them and kind of sun themselves, just like you might sit on the beach on a beach towel, or maybe on a floaty in the pool. So that's that. This is our water. Okay, so it's just a piece of blue, either I can't think of the word, not construction paper, but paper that's a little thicker. All right, so, and now they're all different kinds of little things in your bag. So first of all, what I want you to do is I want you to cut out your lily pad like this and your frogs like this. You should have an orange one and a green one. All right, now a little tip for those of you who are younger or you're just learning to cut with scissors. This is very, very tricky. It's very, very small, his little fingers. So anyways, you can just cut around them a little circle, but I would suggest cutting this out. Let me see. Here, let me hold it up. Cutting this part out rather than just a whole circle, because then I did try that and it didn't really look good. You want to have this indentation so you really see it's a frog. Okay? So now you can see a lily pad has sort of little lines on it. It's kind of like the veins of the plant. All right, so what I think we're going to do is we're going to put those on first. We're going to start with our lily pad. So I get my lily pad, and again, I'm going to get the one that I've cut out. I'm going to just put this a little lower so you can kind of see. Hopefully you can. It's always hard to get my head and the table in. Okay, so anyways, I get my lily pad, and now I've cut it out. All right, now you should have 4 or 6 light green construction paper strips. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of put them, you're going to start here at the bottom and kind of fan them out. Okay, kind of like at an angle. So I'm kind of go like this. I'll try to show you. You know, across. All right, and they're going to be longer than the lily pad. Glue them on first, and then you can cut them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my handy dandy glue. Now I have a glue stick for this. Again, you might want to cover your table if you're doing glue, just with something. I forgot to do it as usual, so I'm just going to do it right here on the table. I can wipe it up later. Okay, so I'm going to put one in the middle, just like this. One in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to put, let's see, so I'm going to need 2. I think I gave you an extra one. I did 2 on either side, so you have an extra one in case you just want to put that extra one on or not. Okay, and I'm going to put it like this. Okay, do you see that? And I'm going to do one more. And some of them are a little skinnier than others. That just gives it a little punch. Okay. All right, there, now I have 3 on that side. I'm going to put 3 on the other side. Counting the middle one. Oops. Okay. Now I'm going to cut around. I just got a little glue on the table and I don't want to get on the other thing, so let me just wipe that up. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off these things so they're not sticking out. Okay, now I have my lily pad, nice with stripes. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. Oh, this glue did a really good job. It's sticking on everything. All right, and now the next thing that I'm gonna do, I am going to get my frog. I think I'll start with my orange frog. Now this is where you have to decide, since you're going to have an orange frog and a green frog, which one you want to have sort of bouncing up and down and which one you want to have in the water swimming around. So you make that choice, and then how you want to decorate them. This one has a little black spots, self-adhesive little spots, dots. And then I also included in your bag little sequins, so you can also decorate one frog with sequins, or you can split them up and put some black dots on one, on both frogs and sequins. But I'm going to put, well, actually first I'm going to get my eyes on. All right, so I have my eyes. These eyes are a little bit bigger than the ones you're going to see in the video. So I get my little I'm going to use this glue stick, I think, for this. Okay, and I'm going to put a little glue on here. Oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Jeez Louise. Yikes. Okay, well, okay. You know what? I don't like the idea of a glue stick eyeball. This one's not working. Okay, well, it just may do. I'm going to have to fix my little frog's eye a little later. He got a little glue on it, but there's my frog. All right, and now I am going to add the little dots. I'm going to get my little black, my white strip with, I think I put 8 dots on here. And so I'm going to put them on. Just peel them off and stick them on the frog, wherever. Well, I do not recommend using a gel glue stick. It's sticking over everything. And I pretty much keep it on his body rather than his legs. Whoops. These are feisty little dots. Okay. I think because my hands are sticky from the glue. Okay. Now I have my little froggy with his dots. He's cute. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the tongue. All right, now I gave you 2 options. One, a little red tongue like this, okay? And the other one is a little red ribbon. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one with the red ribbon. All right? What you're going to do is you're going to get a pair of scissors. Now, these are sharper than what you want to use, unless your adult is doing it. And you're going to take your little red ribbon, and your adult probably knows how to do this, and you're going to gently sort of pull on it, and it's going to curl up a little bit. See? It kind of curled. Do you see that? It's a little curl. All right? And now I'm going to glue that on the bottom here. Put a little glue spot. Okay, do you see he has a little red tongue now? His poor little eye has so much glue on it. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do, okay, so I have my frog. Now I have to get my frog on the lily pad, right? But I want him up a little bit because I like the idea of him bouncing around a little bit. So when I press him, he kind of goes boing, boing, boing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I have 2 green strips here. Now pay attention because this is important. All right. Oh yes, also if you're going to do the tongue, well, I'll show you when we do the other frog how we're going to do that tongue. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 green strips and I'm going to put one up and down and one sideways. And if you've already studied this, it's at a right angle, but you probably haven't. Okay, and then I'm going to go one over the other, cross them over. 1, 2, 1, 2, and your adult can help you with this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you see they're getting shorter? And what I'm making is that little like staircase thing right here. See? Like that. Okay? So it might get a little crooked. Just try to keep it as straight as possible. Okay? You're building like a little tower that the frog is going to sit on. Okay. This takes a long time. I should have made one ahead of time. And again, you can use any color paper. I just used green because it sort of matched. Try to keep it straight as possible, one on top of the other. That is really important because otherwise it'll start to go sideways. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the end. Can you see? It's getting, and I think I might have to cut some of this off. I think I made mine a little shorter the first time I made it. So you may not need these big long strips, but we're just going to do it right now. Okay, do you see I'm trying to keep this little package, so to speak, together. Getting really close to the end. Okay, now I'm pretty close to the end. All right, now, do you see it's kind of like a little accordion? Okay, now I'm going to take one of these little squares. They're little foam squares, and they're sticky on both sides. They have a little paper backing. So you peel the paper backing off. One. And it helps if you can have an adult to do this because it's a little tricky. Okay. And now I'm just going to take that backing and I'm just going to put it on the bottom end of it, or one end, usually the one that I have started with. Okay, do you see that? It's kind of sticking on the end. All right. Then I'm going to do the same thing at the other end. Okay. You see that? Now I kind of have, whoa. Okay, a little accordion, little ones on each end. Now I'm going to put that on the frog. Where's my frog? You can do two of these or one of these. I think I'm going to do two. So I'm going to put it right up here, right on the frog, kind of right about there. So it's kind of hanging down. Now, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I only did one. So I'm going to just put one. Okay, I'm going to put it in the middle. Okay. Now, this is a really long one. I may have to cut it down. So when I did this one, I did two. Okay. I don't know if you can see. Two of them. Okay, I'm going to put this on my lily pad with the frog facing the bigger round circle part. And I'm going to press down on it. Ooh. Okay, do you see my frog falls all over the place? I think I'm going to have to make this a little shorter. So I take it off and I cut it maybe halfway. So you can just not use as much of the green as I did if you want to do it that way. And now my little accordion is shorter. It's like a small little tree. Okay? Now, let me see if I can try this and see what happens. Now he's a little better. And I'm thinking, yeah, you kind of have to put the sticky thing closer to his head than closer to his bottom. Okay, and that kind of gives you a little more bounce. Do you see that, boys and girls? He's kind of bouncing, and I can press so many bounces. Okay, so now I've got my first frog done. Oh, you know what? His little mouth fell off. Okay, let me just put a little glue on. His tongue, I should say. Now his tongue is there. Do you see him? Okay, he's very cute. All right, now the next thing I want to make is the other frog. So I get my other frog. All right, I'm going to put his eyes on. Now, for sure, I'm going to use this other glue. And I should have gotten it ready. Let me see. Okay, let me get my little eye. Put a little dab of glue on. This one should look a lot better. And remember, it always takes a little while for the glue to sort of set. So the eyes may come off. Okay, here's my little green frog. All right, now I'm going to put my little sequins on. Okay, now I have different colors. You also have different colors, red and blue, pink, etc. So I'm going to put some on. And I found from another project that sorry, I don't know why that's appearing. Maybe it's not appearing on your screen. So I'm going to put little dots, and I'm going to of glue, and then I'm going to put the sequins on top of the little glue, rather than trying to get the sequins on the back of the glue. That's way too hard. Okay, then I'm going to just pick them up and put them on. Just kind of tap them with your finger. You can also do it with a Q-tip. That's also good. And of course, I'm going to use all different colors because I want my frog to be really colorful. Of course, you're going to have to use, depending on how many you use, you're going to have to use some of the same colors. That's okay, though. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Okay, wait a minute. Let me get another one here. And what color should we do? A green one here. Okay, now I have a nice, bright, shiny frog. He looks so happy. I think the sun just came out. So, anyways, now I'm going to, now since this one is not sort of floating on a lily pad, but he's just on the water, I don't need to do this whole little accordion thing. So I'm going to go get my blue water. Here's my water. And I'm going to put these frogs on the water, lily pad in the water. So this is my frog. I'm going to put him here. See? And then I'm going to put the frog swimming the other way in the water. So I'm going to glue those down. So, and this might be a little tricky. You kind of have to hold on to it because you've got that frog and I've got something stuck on the back. Okay, so I put my glue on, not too much, but enough that it's going to stick. Okay, you see, put glue on, and I put him right here. Okay, press down, make him stick. All right, great. Now I've got him there. Now I've got the other little friend, maybe diving. You could put him, you know, straight up and down or curve him a little bit, however you want to do it. So I'm going to get glue on the back of this one. And just do a little bit on his toes because they also need to stick. Okay, now I think I would like mine sort of diving in at an angle, or swimming at an angle. And I'm literally just going to press him down right onto the blue paper, cardstock. Okay, now, do you see I have my two frogs? Isn't that cute? All right, and boys and girls, you can hang this somewhere, put it on your refrigerator, give it to a friend. Just enjoy it. You can also play with it, bounce it up and down, and you can make more. Make your own. And you can also add waves to the water, or you can put other little fish in the water. You can really do this picture up super nice. But I didn't do that right now. It's just simple and plain like that. Okay, Well, that's it for the craft, but I want to just tell you some frog facts if you'd like to stay on, because I found out some really cool things about frogs. First of all, frogs are part of the animals that are called amphibians, okay? And frogs live on all the continents in the world except Antarctica. Do you know why they wouldn't live in Antarctica? Because it's so cold. All right. And they like to live in the water or near the water. Well, actually in the water. They need to be in the water. So they live in creeks or ponds or swamps or bogs. And do you know there are close to 5,000 different kinds of frogs in the world? That's a lot of frogs. Now, some of you may have read some books like Frog and Toad, or you may have seen a toad and a frog, but what's really the difference? Do you know that frogs have sort of slimy, smooth skin, and they need to be near water or in water? But a toad is more warty, okay, and has dry skin. A toad also has shorter hind legs, so he doesn't have the really long legs for jumping that a frog does. And you know, frogs have bigger, more circular eyes, and they kind of pop out of his head. And a toad's eyes are more like the shape of a football. All right. Frog legs, I said, are more powerful. What might be some common names of some frogs? Some that I found are a bullfrog. You've probably heard that word. Or a green frog, or maybe a leopard frog, or a wood frog. Now, frogs lay their eggs in the water because they live in the water, and those little eggs hatch into tadpoles. And then the tadpoles grow and they become a frog. So they don't start off just looking like a little frog, but it takes them about 16 weeks. All right. So, did you know that a group of frogs is called an army? I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think I'd want to be greeted by an army of frogs. No, thank you. What color are they? Well, frogs can be all different kinds of colors. Do you know that tropical frogs, who live where it's really, really warm, they are all different kinds of colors. I mean, really, really bright colors. And you can search on the internet and find them. And they're some of the most beautiful colors. And often their skin is so colorful because it warns predators that they're poisonous. So predators will be like, nope, that's not my lunch. So one type of frog, just for example, is called a lemur frog, and it can change colors. So in the night when it's really active, their upper body parts turn all brown. But when they're resting, they turn green to blend in with the leaves that they sleep on. I thought that was really kind of interesting, you know? So many animals have camouflage. I find that fascinating. Quickly, what do they eat or drink? Well, what do you think frogs drink? They don't get a Diet Coke. Okay, they don't drink water, but they soak it into their body through their skin. And do you know they soak it right in this area called the drinking patch? And it's located, it's located more on their belly and on the inside of their thighs. And do you know frogs really need water because they can get dehydrated? They can't just sit on the land and sunbathe. Toads can more so, and that's why their skin is kind of dry and bumpy. If a frog doesn't get enough water, it's not going to live. So we don't want our little froggies dying off. How do you think a frog catches his food? We fortunately don't have to go out and catch our food other than go to the grocery store, but they catch their food with their tongue. And their tongue is a lot longer than ours. Some frogs' tongues are so long that they're almost the length of their body, but they catch bugs that way. And they swallow their food completely whole. They don't chew it. And they push down on their eyes, and their eyes kind of make the food go down. When they're little, they eat algae, and when they get older, they might eat worms or spiders or bugs. They don't really need to eat that often, so they can go for a long time without eating. Do you know what kind of sounds frogs make? Now, we talked a little bit about the ribbit sound, but their sound is called a croak. And each frog has a unique or special croak. And the vocal cords in their body fill up with air. All right, they have little pouches and they kind of hold the air, and that makes them go croak. Okay, they're sort of like balloons. Imagine a balloon and you let go of a balloon, and then imagine a megaphone, like, hello, everybody come, and it just echoes. So some frog sounds can be heard from a mile away. That's a really long way. And frogs can make almost 1,000 different sounds. So again, you could probably hear sounds on the internet. The ribbit croak, when you hear the famous ribbit, 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 is really only said by one frog, and that's the Pacific tree frog. Do you know that frogs can also see completely around, like in a circle? We can only turn left and right, but they can almost do, not quite, but almost a complete circle. Now, what do frogs do in the winter? Do they crawl into a sleeping bag and stay warm? Maybe Froggy does, but frogs hibernate, just like bears. They go to sleep and remain inactive for months while it's cold. Do you know also frogs shed their skin, just like a snake? And they do that often. It keeps them healthy. So often that sometimes it's every week. And sometimes it's even once a day for some frogs. Now this is kind of gross, but some frogs eat their skin. I didn't like that idea, but I thought I'd tell you. How far can frogs jump? They can jump really, really far. Remember, they have strong back, long back legs. They can jump over 20 times their body length. So if you think of a frog as about that big, count that out 20 times, and that's how far they can jump. All right. Also, what is the largest frog? It's called a Goliath frog. Okay, and it's found in Western Africa. They're about a foot long. So a foot long is as long as this ruler. So that's about how long they are. And they can weigh almost as much as a house cat. So if you have a cat at home, that's how much they really weigh. That doesn't sound super big for a frog, but it is if you really think about it. Now, I also wanted to know what the smallest frog was, and that's called the gold frog. And I want to show you, I hope you could see this on the video, but it's 1 centimeter long. Now you can't really see it. But if you get a ruler at home, it's like the size of my little fingernail. It's very, very, very small. So you could easily miss seeing that frog if you didn't know what it looked like. Now, boys and girls, as many of you know, we have an aquarium at the library. And we have right now 2 little frogs in there, and they are adorable. They swim, and I haven't really seen them swim across the aquarium, but I've seen them kind of swim up and down. So when you come to the library, make sure to check out the aquarium. Mr. Lucas is the one that takes care of it. He does a really, really good job. We have fish in there, and it's just way cool. Okay, so last but not least, I just wanted to remind you that that you can pick up your bag at the library, and you have a little flyer here that also gives you the names of books and the author on frogs. There are a lot of books on frogs. I couldn't possibly list them all here, but these are, and some of these you may have already read, so check that out. And there's also a frog poem that I wrote on the back, which is kind of fun. All right, last but not least, I'm going to read you my last final jokes, and then we're on our way. All right. What is a frog's favorite game? Can you guess? You might come up with this. It's called leapfrog. Okay? What is a frog's favorite music? What is your favorite music? Tell your adult what your favorite music is. A frog's favorite music is hip hop. All right. How about, this is similar to one we had before. What is a frog's favorite cola drink or cold drink? I kind of gave it away, boys and girls. Coca-Cola. All right. And finally, what is a frog's favorite exercise? Jumping jacks. I bet you all know how to do jumping jacks. You probably do them in school, or when you were in school. You're not in school so much anymore. But anyways, boys and girls, I've had a great time being with you. I can't wait till we can be back in person. But we just have to be patient, and hopefully that'll happen soon. So for next time, we're going to do flowers. We're not going to do an animal. And then after that, it'll be a little bit different. So I'll explain that in my next time. in the video for the next time. But I really enjoyed being with you, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, and enjoy your little froggies. And don't forget to stop by the library. And if you ever want to show Miss Katharine, what you did, I would love to see how you decorated your frog and how you put them in the water. Okay, have a wonderful time. See you next time. Bye-bye, boys and girls.